his brother, Chef. Beaten, chained, and left as bait. The Bog brothers, stinking like the place they called home, had done this. Their leader, Lanzalut, had never been bested in battle. He had a lance as lethal as it was legend, but he also had the only key.
Hello everyone, and welcome to part 2 of Tales of Iron, or as I like to call it, medieval calico critters. We are now out of the tutorial area, which is where the first area was, which is the castle. We were learning how to fight at the castle, and then continuing on into the village, and now that we've basically defeated every enemy that was in the village, and we're into our main quest, which is to find our brothers. We're actually not going to be doing a lot of talking because Doug Cockle does a wonderful job narrating like the story, and in this video he has a lot more lines that he says as you're going from place to place. So outside of like this introduction and some other places where we're just basically exploring, like going from one area to the other where the narrator doesn't say anything at all, I'm not going to be doing, like I said, a lot of talking.
The Bog brothers' clan were finally destroyed. Reggie knew they would not be the last.
I'm really enjoying the game so far. I really am loving this type of thing. When I was a kid, I really loved the Secrets of Ninth or the Rats of Ninth books because they were really good. And I don't know if anybody has read them, but if you have, you know that they're like really good books. And I know that they're like medieval fantasy allegories for like war and stuff like that. but I thought that they were like really good books to read. Probably not for like 8 or 9 year olds. I definitely do think that they were marketed for probably teenagers, just because of the contents of the books, of the violence that happens within the books, and the complex kind of like political storylines that they had going on. But I did enjoy them.
The Bog brothers were dead, and their stench would soon wash away. His brother could go home safe, and the young king would too, after making sure the roads were clear of frog scum.
Oh, I've got a little pumpkin helmet. It doesn't seem to have a lot of defense, but it looks very cute, and I would definitely put it on my character because it's low weight. But in terms of saving people, we have successfully saved Chef. So now all we need to do is just find our other brother. We don't really know where he is because we just know that he's been captured. Same with Chef. So hopefully we can find more information as we go along.
Reggie would need more than a sword on the road now, the ranger told him. He offered the king his best bow, a gift from his guild. The ranger's best bow was little more than rotten twig and frayed string, but Reggie was grateful that he hadn't been offered the other one.
Yay, so now we have a ranged weapon that should allow us to hopefully deal some damage from far away to weaker enemies so we don't have to get up close to them and fight them like we would with, say, the heavier enemies. It just, I guess, better crowd control. But our arrows are very limited, and I don't think we have any way of crafting them just yet. So we probably will need to get the blacksmith, which is our other brother, back before we can start worrying about weapons crafting, armor crafting, and things like that.
The elder had started placing quests on the village notice board. Getting the old rat to part with some coin was no bad idea, considering the funds needed to rebuild the Crimson Fort. The grub infestation had spread. The farm basement was overrun. The farmer should be able to squeeze bug juice in peace.
This is what I was talking about earlier, that the narrator had a lot more to say in this area than he did in the beginning of the game. And I think that that's just because outside of the introduction that tells us about the story that we're being introduced to, and just kind of like a quick background thing, the beginning area is mainly just tutorials. And now that we're outside of tutorials, we are getting more exposition.
The farmer had fled his grub-infested basement in terror. He was sure they would destroy his bug-juicing machine before long. Reggie assured the farmer he would not let that happen.
I wonder if Doug Cockle had a lot of fun narrating this game, just because it sounds like he did. It sounds like he had a lot of fun giving the voice lines for the things that I've heard so far, and just in general, in story-wise. But yeah, like I said in the first video, it does feel like he's reading a bedtime story to us.
The grubs were gone. The farmer could now make the best freshly squeezed bug juice in all Ratdom. Reggie liked it with bits.
I really like that the game is showing a recovery period. Like, you have nurses helping the sick, you have people cleaning up, people putting out fires. This guy is playing music for morale. And like, just in general, this place is recovering. And not a lot of games choose to show that. A lot of games usually end up with it being like, oh, well, now that the village has been destroyed, it will always be destroyed. It will never like go back to what it looked like before. And I know that that's just because it's limitations of the story, but I wish a lot more games did this.
With the path to Longtail Village free of frogs, the builders could start repairs on the Crimson Fort's bridge. With the paths left unguarded, grubs had crawled to the surface. The builders couldn't work while they're there. The builders could start their repairs in safety. The Crimson Fort would soon be able to welcome visitors again. His brother Chef was glad to be home, but the smith was still missing. The chef believed he might have also been captured. Maybe the elder knew where.
Our brother in the background looks like he's drinking fairly heavily. Either that's him recovering from his injuries because he was injured as well during the battle, or he feels guilty because our father died on his watch and our brothers were kidnapped as well. So hopefully nothing bad. Fingers crossed. Hopefully nothing bad comes from him drinking so much.
The village had already started repairs. It would soon be as if the frogs had never come. The guard captain, who had recovered, had spread word of the king's rescue of the elders. To show their gratitude, the villagers would help rebuild the rat fort. Not so lucky this time. The elder hadn't seen the frogs with the smith. But maybe the ever-vigilant rangers had seen where the frogs had gone. Young Robin had been headed to the ranger's lodge. Maybe Reggie could ask there. Rotting corpses always bring pests. If the grubs get beyond the farm, they'd be everywhere soon.
It looks like we have a side quest to our main quest, and that's to get rid of any nest that we come across. And looks like, from what the narrator said, if we don't get rid of these nests, then the bugs are going to just go ahead and spread. And if we get rid of them, then we don't have to worry about them being in areas that we've already cleared of bugs. Now, there'll probably always be at least like an enemy or two, but I don't think that it's going to be respawning enemies every single time unless you die and you don't save. So I think for now, it's best that anytime I come across these nests, that I get rid of them.
getting to Ranger territory wouldn't be an easy journey. The sewers. His royal ancestors had lifted rats from such places. No rat had dwelt here for years.
If that's the case, then that means that this game could be taking place in modern times. And I say that because this is a rain drainage pipe. And yes, ancient Romans did have sewer systems. They did have comprehensive ways of getting waste matter away from the city spaces so nobody got sick. And in medieval times they were existing, but the way that these pipes are set up and the way that some of the things look makes me think that this is just modern times, that these are modern pipes. And I like the idea that if this is taking place in modern times, these rats and mice and frogs that are living probably in uninhabited or low human inhabited areas and in the grasslands and the forest are basically like Knights of the Round Table, the Green Knight, King Arthur versus Mordred, Dragonheart starring Sean Connery, just to name a few examples. We're going to map out and explore the sewer system a little bit because with that blockade that I couldn't get through, I might just not have had the weapon to do so. There are probably places of the sewer system that we don't have access to unless we have the requisite equipment to do so. But for now, at least, let's try to map out what we can. And that way, when we come back, at least we know areas that we might need to avoid the enemies at, areas in which we might need to bring specific things with us, and just in general explore the different aspects of this place. These guys are really strong, and I may be able to kill one of them, but probably not both of them. And I think that's just because I might be missing an equipment that is effective against them, like a heavy-handed weapon, like a two-handed weapon, or just something stronger than what I currently have. And I don't know if our health bar increases as well, but hopefully our health bar does, because that would be very helpful for as we go into the harder bosses as the game progresses. But for now, I think, I'm just gonna come back to this area. This area looks like it has poison gas coming from the pipes, so it's possible that we won't be able to explore any further. We'll probably need some specialized equipment to either dispel the gas or to protect ourselves. I do want to talk about these windows though. So this looks like a train area. I don't know if you guys have ever seen like Thomas the Tank Engine or even the Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, where he's going to a abandoned train station that's underneath New York. There's a lot of like abandoned kind of like underground subway systems that were once used, but now the lines are closed. They don't use them anymore just because the systems are outdated, and it's a lot of money to fix up those systems and revamp those cars and make sure that they run with the current electrical field. And so this really gives credence to the whole this is taking place in the modern times, because if this is a sewer system that rats used to live in, but now they live out in the open and it looks like a rain drainage system, it's possible that this was either an area where there used to be train cars that would run to, but now they don't run to them any longer, or this is an area in which, like, a city is nearby, but this is taking place in, like, the park, like Central Park or something like that, which would be really interesting. The other theory is that this is taking place in a world where humans are gone, and rats and bugs and all other forest creatures have now kind of taken over the spaces where humans used to live, and that's why they're like medieval, times for them, because they're basically have evolved from primitive species to where they are now.
The ranger needed help. Reggie hoped his bow would last the fight. The head ranger saw the smith taken to the tower by the foul Swamp Slayer clan. But the frogs had barricaded the path. Only a heavy two-handed axe would shatter it. Nothing like the feel of an axe smashing through tough wood. Reggie wondered if it would do the same to frog shields. And frog skulls.
Okay, well, on that cheerful thought, we're actually getting towards the end of the video. I know that it says that we have a few minutes left, but I'm going to go ahead and say my goodbyes now, and that's just because once we go into the next area, the narrator has a lot of dialogue lines. So I'm just going to let the rest of the video play through. But I do want to say thank you so much for joining me for this game. I'm really liking the action RPG aspects of it, and just the cute characters, and the narrator, and the setting, and just everything, and my own little theories popping up. But also, just in general, thank you so much for sticking with us and watching these videos. I know I'm not very consistent, and that's just because I'm not consistent with being able to put these videos out, and I would love to be. And I think I explained it before. It's just currently for me, it's easy to kind of do like a large batch of different games and then take a break. And so I did take a break over the summer, and then I started recording again, and then I took another little break to get a bunch of games put together for you guys, which I started again. We started doing separate ways, and now we're doing Tales of Iron, and the next game that we're going to play is Man of Medan once I finish Tales of Iron. So yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for sticking with us. If you do want to see any other game that we're playing through or have played through, definitely check out our channel's playlist. We have a bunch of games that I've played through, games that Nicola has played through, and just clips and stuff like that when we were playing through RDR online with Jackie and a bunch of our other friends. So yeah, definitely check it out if you want to, or if you want to have something playing in the background that's a little silly. So with that being said, you guys have a good rest of your day. I'm going to make my way back to the Ranger, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
The ranger was excited to help the king. An unforgettable tale to tell his children one day. The smith's hammer. He would never have dropped it willingly. Reggie was grateful for his help. He needed to get to his brother as fast as possible. Would he find him still alive in the tower?